Swadika and welcome to Morning Thailand. I'm Wanason Kurahong.
And I'm Thanannapat Noivien. Good morning, and you're watching the morning shows here from MCOT World on this Wednesday, December the 4th, 2013. And I gotta admit, it has been a tough week.
And that's the sad part because we're just on the third day of this week in terms of working days. So at this point, like I said, we have to cancel Monday. That says something about the situation. But of course, at this point, several incidents to update. However, just to get on with the day, good news yesterday was one of the most I would say a happy days for a lot of people, especially civil servants, as they were actually led by the Prime Minister along with a lot of the military top brass to actually join what they call the swearing of an oath of allegiance to His Majesty the King as the December the 5th is approaching. So yesterday at about 8 a.m. in the morning, there has been a gathering of the civil servants as well as the top military figures, along with a lot of the ministers as well that join in this particular swearing of oath. Now, of course, we are doing this every year in respect to His Majesty the King. So yesterday, Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, along with all the military personnel, as well as the civil servants and ministers from various ministries, actually joined hands and got together to swear oath of allegiance to His Majesty the King. Now, in this particular ceremony, they are swearing that they would becomes, or at least trying to be the good civil servants with honesty and trying their best to make sure that all the problems of the nations as well as the public will be resolved and try their best to do everything to benefit the nation itself by holding the teaching, I would say, of His Majesty the King's and his ideals and his principles as part of the guidance. Now they say that in this particular event, of course, all the reporters actually flocked into the scene because there are a lot of issues that they could ask a lot of people, especially the Army Chief General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who also was there as well. Now, of course, one of the questions that were asked for the General Prayut Chan-o-cha was that whether or not the military will interfere and what do they think about the situation right now.
That's too strange.
Exactly. But, the Army chief said that at this point the military will take a look from afar and just to make sure that everything would go in place. Of course, when help is needed, the military will step in, but not at this time. They will let the politics be politics at this point. So overall, it was quite nice. However, on the other side of the country, this is where this is a practice in getting ready for December the 5th. Of course, this time it will be the first time that the celebration where His Majesty the King grant audience for all the civil servants as well as the public will be held outside Bangkok. Normally it would be in the capital. However, at this time it will be in Hua Hin district of Prachuap Khiri Khan province where Klai Kangwon Palace is located. And of course, yesterday, all three military branches were actually joined hands. That's including the Army, the Navy, as well as Air Force. About 1,700 of the officials were actually there practicing their marching and, of course, trying to make sure that all the sequence will actually be in place. And this is one of the things that happened yesterday. Now, they say that at this point, it will take place, of course. They say that the ceremony will start at about 9:45 a.m. of the 5th of December, where His Majesty the King will move from the Klai Kangwon Palace and will ride in the car, in the motorcade, to actually go around the street in the area, giving all the public a chance to pay respect to their Majesty the King and the Queen as well. And then they will later move on and meet with the Prime Minister and such and granted the civil servants the audience as well. Now they say that at this point everything has been put in place and a lot of practices has been done. Of course, the Prime Minister is very excited about this particular incident as well. But of course, like I said, 2 ceremonies took place yesterday, so that was quite a busy day for our Prime Minister as well. Coming from, she actually ended up has to take a helicopter to Prachuap Khiri Khan yesterday.
Yes, because he has some duties in Bangkok as well. And apart from that, concerning the ongoing political situation in Thailand, especially in Bangkok, one important figure of the country has come out and expressed his worries. He is the Somdet Phra Maha Ratchamankhalajan, the abbot of Pak Nam Phasi Charan Temple, and he is the acting Supreme Patriach of Thailand. And yesterday he has talked to the press, revealing that he has been following on the protest situation in Bangkok quite closely, and he became worried over the tension that has been rising over the past few days. Therefore, he called on Kun Suthep Thuesuban, a protest leader, to help quelling the unrest. In the statement yesterday, the acting Supreme Patriarch said, "We people are all Thai who have a good heart and also a firm respect to the monarchy, and nobody wants to see any conflict arises, especially during this time of year as we're preparing celebrations for His Majesty the King's birthday." So he has called for peace and unity among Thai people as a birthday celebration and a birthday present for His Majesty the King. He said Thai people have seen His Majesty as father of the whole nation, and he has contributed a lot of good deeds for the happiness and well-being of Thai people. So the last thing that His Majesty wants to see is a conflict among his people. So for this auspicious occasion, the acting Supreme Patriarch has called on Thai people to be cautious and aware of what we are doing and what we are doing that thing for.
Right.
And that he addressed to the protesters, all the media and all sectors of the society. What you're doing in order to create peace and unity among Thai people in the country. So he has called on the people to be aware of what they're going to do, what they're going to say, and the next step of the protesters and the government itself. And about the acting Supreme Patriarch, he's the 88-year-old abbot of Pak Nam Phasi Charan Temple. He has recently been nominated as the next Supreme Patriarch, and his endorsement will become official after it is put in the Royal Gazette by the Prime Minister, that has to be forwarded to His Majesty the King later on.
Right. So this is one of the concern. At this point, I think the Thai society is seriously concerning about the situation that we are having. Now, moving on to another situation down south, even though we have a lot of violence right here in capitals, unfortunately down south, the violence still plaguing several provinces. At this point, there has been a report in Songkhla province talking about a killing, a murder at this point. However, mind you, the investigators still not pinpoint whether or not this is actually personal conflict or is it the instigating violence by the southern insurgent. And of course, this is at the Tepa district of Songkhla province. Now they say that at about 10 o'clock, they found the body of Kun Reungrit Ikasiri, age 54. Now, he was actually a retired Ban Bo Tei school teacher. They say that when they got to the scene, he was found dead. He was shot dead. And the witnesses said that Kun Reungrit was on his way back from, on his way to visit his mother. However, they say that as he was approaching the area, there were 3 culprits altogether in a motorcycle, drove past by, and then just pretty much shot him point blank. And they say that this is still, like I said, the officials are looking into this particular case to see whether or not it was an act of personal conflict or it was the southern insurgency trying to instigate a little bit more violence and fear in the area. So that we're going to have to report on later.
Yes, of course. And one more issue in the first break this morning, they were concerned and like an outcry from the parents at a local school in Klong Luang district of Pathum Thani province, calling on authority to help stepping up safety measures at several overpasses in the local area. Parents said they did not disclose the name of this particular school. However, they said that there is an overflying in front of the local school at the Bang Khan Nong Sua Road, and it seems that there has been a problems there because on the overpasses that parents and many students have to use, there were a wire and a metal wires that has been hanging from the cables overhead.
Right.
And that seems to be a very dangerous places that the least places that students should be there. However,
That's
they
true,
have to
because
use,
if you actually even touch the rail, I'm pretty sure that's kind of very dangerous as well.
Yes, of course, and it is not an electricity wire, it is high voltage cables that sometimes there was a problems of a thief who tried to cut off the metal wire in order to steal it for sale, and it had left several cables hanging around. And students that had to travel through this particular overpass seems to be in great danger there. So parents had raised this concern and called on authority to help stepping up and look into this particular matter. Kun Somnik Buasuwan, age 56, a parent of the one of the students at the school, said that during the rush hour there in the morning and in the evening after school, there were a lot of people, not just the student, but also local residents who have to pass this particular route. And sometimes they had to like bend their head in order to, if the adults are quite tall, they have to bend their head in order to avoid.
Okay. Well, that's not good. I think the wires should avoid us. I mean, put it in upper places, in proper places. Well, of course, with that, we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, of course, updates on the demonstrations that ongoing in the capital right now. So please stay tuned.